Well, we're here in the middle of winter on the south coast on a glorious day on what must be probably the best beach to be walking a dog on at this time of year. And I'm joined by Remy and Bramble, who's going to talk to us over the next few minutes or so. So Remy, firstly, just tell me a little bit about you.
Right, so I've lived in Poole for about 27 years. Recently retired from the NHS at the end of last year as an anaesthetist.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always wanted to train a Labrador as a
Really?
retriever gun dog.
Mm-hmm.
My wife's had Labradors before, so hence we got involved with a local breeder who had a working line, and we got Bramble just after Christmas.
So Bramble comes from a working line of gun dogs.
Yeah.
Mm.
She's 14 weeks old.
She's 14 weeks old. And just out of interest, it's always a struggle with the litter of puppies. How did you choose her particularly?
Well, I knew the breeders from before, so I got him. I did my research, and they had 8 puppies. We wanted a bitch, and they kept one bitch, and then they said this one will be a good one for you to train. Don't know how they decided that, but she's turned out to be quite feisty, quite headstrong.
So how have these first 14 weeks been?
Had been fine. I mean, obviously we got her at 8 weeks, 3 feeds a day, okay, and we were on 4, so I was getting up at 6 in the morning. But then now we're down to 7 and 2 feeds, which would have been fine really. It's I've got nothing else to do. Well, I've got other things to do because I've been helping out on the immunisation programme. But she's all consuming really, which is lovely really.
It's a rewarding challenge.
Sit.
So how did you approach the question of her diet? What was your thinking around that?
Well, see, from my background, I do my research. So even before Bramble was born, I asked her, sit. I asked her breeder what she was, the dogs were fed on, and they said they were on a raw diet. So that's when I first met Nettie, really, before she was born, and she introduced me to the concept of raw diets. So we explored that, and so just after he was born, I went to see Nettie. Said, "Well, bring her along, and we can get a program for her."
So Nettie put together a program specifically for Bramble.
Yeah, and she's weighed her a couple of times, and when they're first very small puppies, they just go on to very finely minced chicken, and then we progress from there.
From there onwards.
Yeah.
So how does it progress onwards? How often do you change that diet?
Well, as they get slightly older, Nettie will tell you introduce different proteins. You can have chicken heart protein, other proteins like duck and turkey. And later on, when their stomachs can take it, they'll go on to beef and lamb and fish as well, which has been fantastic. Yeah.
So from your point of view, when you see her on this diet, what impact do you think it has on her?
Well, I mean, I think it suits her tremendously. I mean, I don't know, but I think she's got fantastic condition, wonderful coat. It's a bit more of a faff, but I can get myself organised. We've got ourselves a little freezer in the garage, and so all the food is frozen. And then the night before, I just defrost what I need. Next day, sit. You're quite obedient, aren't you, good girl?
So what concerns you most about feeding a raw diet?
I don't really have any other problems. I know, some the blogs say they're worried about bacteria and stuff, but it's just proper hygiene. It's nothing to be worried about that. You just have to get yourself organised, and we keep her food in a separate freezer. I don't really have any worry. It's a little bit more faff than taking dried stuff out of a bag, but then I feel she's getting what she's meant to eat.
Yes. Yeah.
And it makes complete scientific sense to me.
And that's one of the things, having done your research and checked that through, it obviously hangs together and makes good sense. Yeah. And given that her parents also,
Well, I mean, the other thing is talking to her breeder. Once her mother, the bitch, had 8 puppies, her condition was very good. Normally, after having 8 puppies, the bitch's condition would be a little bit, down, but it wasn't. She was lovely. So, and Nettie also explained that, because that line has been fed on raw, it passes on to all the puppies, and they were all superb puppies.
That's fascinating. Their health was absolutely positive right from the start.
Well, bring it here. Yeah, natural instinct to retrieve.
So what advice would you give to anyone that's unsure about this?
I think about it. It's not that much an extra time-consuming thing. You have to be a bit organised, but it's what they're meant to eat. And for me, it just makes perfect sense, really.
Yeah. No, it's excellent. Excellent. So if you were to kind of summarize the experience you've had in working with Nurturing by Nature, over these last 14 weeks, what's special about that?
Well, it's superb. First of all, my first introduction was with Nettie. She's got a wealth of experience. It was very positive. But everyone else, I've been to the shop in Upton, I've been to the shop in Pinehurst Road and Westmoors, and everyone's so helpful and getting what I need. I mean, I often will go and collect the food myself, but they will deliver as well. So it's not a problem, really. And there's always someone on hand for advice.
Yeah. And I think that's it. So looking forwards, whatever situation or circumstance arises, you've got the confidence that you've got support and advice there that's objective and professional.
The website is superb. It gives you advice, and you can register the puppy on it, and you can follow the progress.
Yes. Yeah. And can you also record the weight of the puppy?
Yes, I haven't quite managed to get that button to work yet. We've got original weight on it and a projected weight, but maybe it's because I run a Macintosh system that I can't get it to work. But
okay.
Work in progress.
Well, that's one for the technical guys to try and sort out. But again, it's an important part of the process to make sure that you are maintaining that health and that diet going forwards. Yeah. So if I was to kind of ask you to summarize kind of in one sentence, which is, I feed raw because...
I feed raw because it makes complete scientific sense to me. The puppy's in perfect condition. Everyone who I've seen is on raw. Her mother and her other dogs in that household are also very well fed. Obviously they're a working line, so they need good nutrition because they work a lot. They do a lot of exercise. I can't fault it.
No. That's marvellous. Thank you very much. And I think we've kept Bramble for long enough.
Yeah, she's enjoying playing with the toys, aren't you, sweetie?
Remy, thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.